Hi everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we'll be looking at name ranges in Excel. And what this is, name ranges, as the name only kind of gives it away. It is that it is this idea that you can give meaningful names to cells or ranges of interest that you might be using throughout the workbook. So just to take one example, look at this cell right here, B9. I have some information stored in this cell, 10%. Probably this is a tax rate. Probably this is some information that I'll be using again and again throughout this workbook. So what I can do is, rather than having this unintuitive name for it, B9, probably I can give it some custom name, some name that I can refer it by. How do you do that? All you have to do is just select the cell which you want to name. You can see this small box right here. This is called the name box. If I want to name this cell a custom name, I can just come here, click on it, and I can give it a name that is comfortable to me. I will call it tax underscore rate, right? And that's all that it is. Now that you have provided a custom name to the cell, now the idea is that whenever I want to probably use this information in some other place in the worksheet, I can just use this name that I provided. For example, in this cell, if I want to refer this, I can just say equals, give the name, and you can see Excel is smart enough to give me an autocomplete also. I will press tab, enter, and just like that, I can refer to this cell anywhere throughout this workbook just using that given name. So let's look at how I might be using this kind of a thing. Look at this. Let's say I have, this some data. I have some employee and their income data. And now I want to calculate the tax for them using this cell. Earlier, I would have had to, reference that cell, probably freeze it when moving it down. Not anymore. I can just say equals to, I can give reference to the income, multiply by, I can just give the name that I used, tax rate, enter, and that's pretty much it. I can flow this formula down by using Control D, and no need of freezing, no need of nothing like that. And I can just do these things like this. So this is a pretty useful idea, and you can even expand on it. Like right now, I gave a name to a single cell, but obviously, if tomorrow I want to give, names to entire ranges, I can do that as well, and that also can make my life very very easy. So, for example, look at this. Let's say I have this data. I have all of these incomes of some of these employees. Probably this column, this range right here is of interest to me. I'll be calculating some aggregates for this column later, so might as well give it a name. I will call this, let's say, incomes. Enter. Right? Now that I have given this name to this entire column, I can, whenever I want to reference this entire range, I can just use the name that I gave it. So for example, let's say that later you want to calculate aggregates of this entire column. I can just come here, I can say equals to sum. And now rather than, manually going and giving reference to that range, I can just say here sum of incomes, right? And see how easy this makes my life, right? And I can say average of incomes. Similarly, you can say count of incomes. Basically, whenever now you want to, refer that particular cell range, no need to all the time go and, select it, but you can just use the name that you have provided. So it is great, you can give these names like this, and then you can start referring to whatever names you gave, you will get the data there. But there are some, it is not that straightforward. Unfortunately, there are some rules that we will have to be mindful of. So when I am giving names, right, whenever you give these custom names, there are some rules that you have to adhere to. So let's look at them. If you are from a programming background, maybe you might be aware of these INC rules. So this is all that it is. Not much to it. There are a few rules, The first one being that the names that you provide, right, they can only start with alphabets or underscore, meaning that uh, names can't start with numbers or any special characters, right? So make sure that you do that. So for example, if I show you, let's say that I try to name this cell, let's say to sum or something, you can see that this is not allowed, and Excel throws an error to me that this is not a valid name. So this is one rule: make sure that you start your names with alphabets or underscore only. Also, another important, very important thing is that there are no special characters allowed while naming these things. You can't have spaces, you can't have at the rates, and all these other special characters in your names, okay? That is just not allowed. And this is an important one because many a times people give names like income space one or something like this. So this is, be mindful that it is not allowed. If you do want to use space in your names, the convention is that use underscore to denote space. And third, and another very important thing is that make sure not to give names that conflict with existing names in the workbook. Things like sum is a function, don't give name to a cell which is also sum. There might be some conflicts that might happen, right? So these kind of things, these three rules you would need to take care of uh, uh, you know when giving these names. Other than that, it is all great. You can just give names, just make the selection whatever range you want to give a name to. Just select it entirely, go to this name box, give it a name. Maybe I will call this data, and then you're pretty much good to go to use that name throughout the workbook. Just one more thing that I want to show you in this short introduction to named ranges, which is that now that I've given all these names, uh, you might want to edit them or you might want to change them, these kind of things. So this entire named range thing, you will find the options regarding edit and creating these things right here in the formulas tab under the name manager. So I can go here in the formulas tab, and this is the name manager which manages the custom names, name ranges given in this workbook. And you can see I have given three names here: data, incomes, and tax rate. Tomorrow, if you want to edit any of these, maybe this income, I want to edit it to say employee incomes or something. So then you can come here and you can give these things and press OK and close, right? So short video, just to reiterate, name ranges are very useful. You can give them just by making the selection and giving a name in this name box, or you can come to this formulas tab, go to the name manager, and from here also you can define these name ranges. You can use these name ranges using the equal sign. You can refer to them, or you can, in any formula, you can just refer to them as it is.